And welcome to Impact 2024, our continuing conversation where we talk about all different types of topics from current events, when we talk about religion, we talk about what's going on in the world, we talk about race, we talk about anything that you can think of. This is our continuing conversation, our safe place for conversation, a place where you can participate as well in the conversation. And as always, we ask that you do participate. And how do you participate, you may ask? You may wonder. You type your questions and your comments into the comment section. Once you do that, we will address them, bring them up on the screen. We will talk about them. If it's a question, we'll answer it or to the best of our ability. If it is a comment, I will sit back and put it up there and I will read it. But this is a conversation. So the more that you provide, the better it will be. Before we start, let's talk about what's going on. It's February, almost 2 days away, or a day away, basically. And then it'll be February, Black History Month, just as a reminder to everyone. Um, so that's what's coming up. And also, just a tidbit of something new. This kind of just heard this information today. So just keep this in the back of your mind. Today, there was a news report, a news report that they were able to put a computer chip into a person's brain. The person had significant brain injuries, neurological issues, and they were able to put a computer chip in there. And for the first time ever, this computer chip was able to help with their cognitive abilities. And so things may be changing as far as brain diseases, um, some of those neurological diseases that are going on. That now they're going to be able to infuse computer chips in there. This is not what we're talking about today, but it's in on some terms that's great. It's absolutely excellent for those who may have had some brain damage or neurological issues. And on the other hand, that is super scary. you know, you think about the different types of television shows and movies and how this stuff is now becoming reality. When you think about when they talk cyborgs, half man and half human, or half human being, half robot or computer, we're getting a little closer there. So just I bring that up because it was an interesting thing. Just keep a watch on things that are going on. Things are changing. Things are changing. Um, but what we're talking about today is I think it's a positive topic. On a positive note, pretty good. Um, the best way to say it. I'll give light to what was going on today with myself. Today, I was at my house, and a neighbor of mine got their vehicle stuck in the mud. And so I came outside. Some other neighbors came outside. When it was all said and done, it was about five of us out there just working to help get this neighbor's vehicle out of the mud. Ultimately, we were able to get it out of the mud because one person had like a tow truck type thing where they were able to get it and pull it out. But it was good because as neighbors, we hadn't gotten together before. We hadn't really talked before. Well, we see each other with the hi bye and things like that. But this time we got together for a particular cause. And then we were all just chit chatting while we were working and getting it all together. And that was a wonderful, actually a wonderful experience. It was unfortunate that she had a bad thing happen, but it was a wonderful experience, kind of like a funeral. It's unfortunate that somebody has to pass away, but it's great when you get to see family, friends, other loved ones, and get together. And so that's kind of what it was today. Found out more information about people, kind of got some insight into some things that were going on in their lives, and you're able to tell them about things that you're doing as well. Just chit chat, chatter, and I think everybody felt good going away. I offered some advice on another vehicle that wasn't working that one person had, and they offered me some advice on where to take vehicles and things like that, and talking about school and all this kind of stuff. It was a great time. I bring that up because now it is the beginning of the year, but this is a good time. It's a good time and an opportunity for us to get together, for people to get together. We've talked about multiple times why there's a need to get together. There's a mental health need to get together. There's a safety need to get together. There's plenty of reasons to get together. And you know, from the church standpoint, if you want to look at it like that, we're supposed to get together. People of faith and get together with others as well. But there's opportunities to get together. Like I said, it was February. Super Bowl's coming around. That's a good excuse for people to get together. They usually do. Gather friends and family around the table to watch sports. We just came out of the holiday season. Excuses and reasons to get together. Going forward, as it gets a little bit warmer in the spring, you got March Madness if you like sports, and we have all these college games and different things. Reasons to get together, or the kids will be outside playing sports. They'll be playing soccer and track and baseball. It's an opportunity to, whether you have kids or not, if you go watch your niece and your nephew, or go watch your little cousin, or go watch the neighbor in the neighborhood. It's opportunities to get together. It's gonna get you warm. It's time to break out those tools to make food outside, those grills. You got to have the cookouts and other little events, and you go to cookout at the park, and just ample opportunities to get together. Spring break will come around, and it'll be time where people want to take vacations or things like that. But it's in time to get together. I think that is one of the things that I think that we need to make a conscious decision and a purposeful decision on. Is we have excuses and we got reasons to get together. We need to start utilizing them and using those. Here's a funny thing happened to me this week. I had a neighbor. I have a neighbor, my next door neighbor. She's an elderly woman. She's in her 90s. And I was sitting at home one day, and the police came by and they knocked on the door. And police knocked, they banged on the door. They're a little loud, boom, 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 boom. So I'm like, oh, something must be wrong. Get to the door, and the police are like, hey, have you seen your neighbor in a little while? I'm like, no, I usually see her taking out her trash. We talk, chit chat from time to time. But now I think about it, I probably haven't seen her in maybe a couple of weeks, maybe like 2 weeks. So it was like, okay. And then they went away, and I went about my business. Next thing you know, I see fire truck coming down the road, and an ambulance come down the road, and I guess they break into her house. The police and the fire and the ambulance, they break into her house, and because nobody heard from her. They were doing a welfare check or whatever. And so I'm like, oh my goodness. Now I'm busy. I'm doing other things. I can't really see what's going on, but I see that ambulance. It wasn't just a regular ambulance. It was a advanced life unit ambulance. And so I'm like, uh-oh, problems. Well, anyway, make the long story short, I was like, oh no. I called my wife and I'm like, our neighbor's passed away, 90 years old. And immediately I felt bad because I was sitting back and I was saying, well, you know what? We didn't really get together as much as we should. We would chit chat and talk, but we really didn't. I should be checking on her all the time. I should have, known 2 weeks shouldn't have gone by and I hadn't seen her and I didn't go by and check on her and make sure she was okay. Well, later on, come find out, I'm sitting there. My wife is all tore up. She's saying, I'm sad. I'm like, man, I'm going to eventually tell the kids because then they're going to know that our neighbor is there and blah, 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 blah. I'm driving down the street, going back to my house. I see my neighbor walking into the house, being walked into the house with her, one of her family members. I'm like, wait, I thought you went on to be with the Lord. What's going on here? Well, come to find out, they did bust in her house and do all that kind of stuff, but they found her and was able to take her to the hospital. And so I was very pleased and happy that she hadn't transitioned on and that she's still here with us. But at the same time, I was a little disappointed in myself already. I was sitting back saying, on the first hand, I was sad because we hadn't gotten together. It's been 2 weeks since I seen her, and I didn't even think about going by and doing anything like that. But then I didn't even realize that she was still here. I was just assuming that you're gone, which I'm realizing I need to get together more or communicate more with my neighbor. This is my next door neighbor, not down the street, not across the street. We share a fence. And so I say that in a positive way, or it's positive, like it was a good story. But that relates back to the getting together of what we're talking about today. Is we need to get together. We all need to get together. And that's all but we have to make a concerted effort and a conscious effort to get together with one another. You know, as the studies have shown, it's good for your mental health, but it's also good for your safety, as we know. No one should be alone. As the old saying goes, man is not made to be alone. Um, Mankind, all of us, womankind, everyone, we're not made to be alone. That's where we can kind of fester in ourselves and fester in ourselves and have our bad thoughts and go into like bad spirals. You know, we sit back sometimes and we wonder why people go off the deep end, why people get into a place of depression, not clinical depression, but into a sense of you get depressed and start to have bad thoughts, or then you start to do bad things, and usually those things are done alone. It's not often that if you're in a group, whether it be friends or whether it be strangers, you're not in a group of strangers and you're talking about a difficult time and they're hyping you up to do the wrong thing. Yeah, like, man, I feel bad. I feel terrible. Like, I'm no good. Yeah, you're no good. You're terrible. Like, you don't really hear that. And so it's good that we get together and that we, get together with people, just whether it be socially or whether it be something organized, that we get together and we have a commitment to getting together. We've talked about people coming back to church. You need to get together and see people. Wonderfully here, it seems like people are really, really grasping and grasping to that and holding on to that and understanding that we need to get together, and it feels good to get together with other people. But I think even more so than that, we need to make a conscious effort to do so. Some of the happiest people I know are the people who are constantly doing things with others. Whether it be they're going to church, or whether it be they're in a club, a club or organization or a group, and they always have something to do. Whether it be that they go out to restaurants all the time and meet people, or go out to bars and everything like that, or sports bars or entertainment places, or whether they maybe they go to a play or go to other places and they see people and able to chat. It is healthy and good to be together. And even if you're not a together person, where you don't want to be around a lot of people and chit chat and chat, some kind of connection where you have the opportunity to get with others. Especially, you just need to force yourself to do it, or force your family and your loved ones to do it. It's just not good to be alone. It's just not good to be with yourself. You can't sit in the house all day and watch Netflix. It's not going to work out. You can't. The only time you see people is if you go to work. That's not going to work out. None of these scenarios or situations where you kind of to yourself really works. You can't talk to your pet and that be the only person you talk to. It doesn't work out. And so I know this isn't one of the type of conversations that we have where it's a lot of back and forth and thought-provoking things. But I just wanted to make sure that I put out there as a reminder to us that we need to make a conscious effort to get together going forward. And as I said, this is the perfect time of year. This is the best time. It's cold now. It's getting ready to get warm. It's opportunities to get out. You have the events. It's excuses everywhere. Sports on TV, Super Bowl. It's plenty of other events. It's going to be St. Patrick's Day in a little bit, and Valentine's Day, and whatever other day. It's opportunities all over the place to get together. Here at Amaya Christian Ministries, we have wonderful opportunities to get together, because we're going to have, we have game days or game nights where we get together. You can come to church and get together with people, Bible study and everything else that we have. It's opportunities to get together. We have community days and everything like that. There are plenty of reasons and excuses to get together, and some of the excuses that we've had not to go out and get with other people over the past couple of years. Even those conditions are still here: COVID, RSV, other sicknesses, and everything like that. But to the effect of how it was before, to the effect of how scary it was before, it is lessened. And we also have the opportunities to still wear masks if we want to, and there's no negative stigma with it for most folks. Most people are not going to look at you sideways because you have a mask on. It's It's personal preference. So there's no excuse now, I think, or there's less excuse now for us to get together, and we should. One of the recent articles that I read, trying to be read up on what's going on in our political scene, and the observance of the people who are most extreme. They were saying that the people who are most extreme were people who either got together in these big rallies and everything like that, which is not most of us, that dedicate their time to going down in these political rallies. Those are people who are the most extreme. But the other most extreme folk are the people who isolate themselves and only listen or watch the shows or the channels or whatever that they want to watch, and are not getting together with other people to really have vivid and live conversations. And so it's two groups. Now I talked about getting together. If you are getting together, that can take you down a bad path, or it's what you're getting together and doing. But what takes you down one of the worst paths is isolation, is only listening to and only doing the isolated things that you want to do. And unfortunately, right now, we have a long political season coming up when there's going to be a lot of people who isolate themselves and only listen to certain things and get some bad thoughts going on. I don't think it's ever been easier than it is right now to just isolate yourself. You don't have to go to the grocery store. You can Uber Eats or whatever the other ones are, where they'll bring all your food to your house. I got another neighbor who that's all she does. A package is coming to her house every day. You don't have to go shopping. You got Amazon. So they're going to bring you everything. So Uber Eats will bring you your food. Amazon will bring you all the other things that you need, or Walmart will deliver everything that you need to your house. You don't have to go anywhere. You can work from home in a lot of jobs. You don't have to go anywhere. Even if you're a part of an organization and you have some responsibilities, you can do all of your meetings probably on Zoom. You really don't have to go anywhere. And that's the scary part. And that's what we need to discourage. You need to get together. We all need to get together. And we need to remind people and encourage people to get together. Some of the stuff that we have to do, unfortunately, is shut down some of the opportunities not to get together. We want to sit here and say, well, yeah, you always need to have a Zoom option. You always need to have a virtual option, Teams or whatever. You always need to have a virtual option when you meet. Sometimes we got to say no. The irony is that I'm saying this to you as we're sitting here on YouTube and Facebook. But the truth of the matter is we have to make sure that we get together as people, period, and that we encourage others to get together. It's great for us, and it's great for our mental health. Last thing, and then we're pretty much done. One of the other things that I read was about the fact that we can't recognize other people's issues and traumas if we're not physically around them. And so what was being said was that there's a lot of people who normally would cry out for help who can't get it because there's no one around to help them or to hear them crying out, basically. And so if you're acting out, if you're doing some different things, if you're acting a little bit weird, there's no one to look at you and be able to diagnose not even diagnose, but anybody to sit back and say, you're acting a little different. You're acting a little bit strange. You look a little bit stressed. Is there anything that you need? How's it going? How's it doing? What's going on? And because of the lack of being able to do that with certain people, those people get sicker. If you're mentally sick or you're mentally depressed, wherever you are, it will get worse. And that was the scary part about what was going on, is that you don't have the opportunity for somebody to see you. One of the scariest things I think is when people get older and they live by themselves, because there's nobody around, like my neighbor, my neighbor who there's nobody around to help you out when something goes wrong. There's nobody around to pick you up when you fall. There's nobody around to get you out of bed if you just can't move out of bed and you're just sick that day. There's nobody around to see that you need help. And it's not always a physical thing. Sometimes it's a mental and an emotional thing. And so that's why I'm pressing here and just reminding us this is a perfect time of year. There's no reason that you can't get out and get together with other people. There's no reason that you can't be a part of something. But we all need to remember that that was what we used to do, and we need to make it a priority in our lives to make sure that we're going to get together with others. All right. That's pretty much it. No real questions or comments today. I know that was a little different from what we normally do. Sometimes we hit a lot of current events and current topics like that. But I think it was important and it needs to be said. Especially, again, let's prepare. Let's get ourselves ready. Let's get up out. If before you want to really get together, you got to get off all the stay at home. Got to get me some new fresh clothes. I've been staying at home too long, or I need to exercise because I ain't got the energy to be out there hanging out and getting with people yet. Well, then let's prepare because it's gonna be cool for a little bit more. But when it gets warm, let's get together. Let's see people. Let's build relationships or continue our relationships in person. All right. As always, we like to remind that we have different offerings here on Thursdays. We have Thursday, our weekly Bible study, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, PM. YouTube, Facebook, same place. And then 10 a.m. on Sundays, Eastern Standard Time. Same place we have worship here on YouTube and Facebook. So please join us. And then also on every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, we have prayer. And so join us for that as well. And as always, we have Impact 2024. So thank everybody for joining us. Thank you for being here. We will be here next week as we are always. Have a good one and have a good night.